I don't know how long this video is going to last. I don't really want to make it a long video, but it is what it is. It's however much time it takes is what it takes. Now, I want to discuss some things with you, depending on how much time I've got, how much we cover on what's needed to be. 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, I went to the Dakota Boys Ranch thrift store, which is a thrift store that I like to go to in Fargo, North Dakota, Minnesota, whatnot. They got locations in Dilworth, Minnesota, Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, Fargo, North Dakota, just spread out all over the place, really. I don't know the extent of their locations on where they put them. You know, I don't know. There's a lot of details I don't know. There's the locations I'm familiar with, and then some. Well, I was out there, and guess what? I went and got my stuff, paid for it, went out to the vehicle. As I was loading stuff in the vehicle, I found a socket. Now, granted, it's going to be hard to see. It won't show up that good. But in a nutshell, inside the socket, there's rust. It's not so bad where it has to be scrapped. All I have to do is get something to clean up that rust. It's surface rust. So the surface rust really isn't anything I'm going to sweat. And if it shows the rust that's on the back here, if it picks up, basically in a nutshell, the inside is about the rust that you may or may not see is like the rust here, where it can be cleaned up rather easily. Now this socket here is, I want to say a 7mm. No, does that say? Can't quite tell what that says. Anyway. I can't read what it says. It's not very big, as you can see. I thought it said 7mm, but I'm pretty sure I'm off on that. Well, anyway. I don't know if I've said anything. I'm sure I have. But since I've had COVID, I've had big time anxiety issues. Bad. Sometimes it just takes the thought of going out to the vehicle and going somewhere that gets my anxiety worked up to the point where I start panicking. I haven't had any panic attacks that were bad. Nothing to warrant going to a clinic over. But I've had panic attacks to where I have had to sit here and take nice long deep breaths and just calm myself down and get to where I'm better. And it is what it is. But what I've done, I ordered some medication on eBay. It's herbal supplements. One I bought, it was buy 2, get 1 free. 60 caplets per bottle, and it's all natural. All natural. It is Herbacat. This is the medication. This is the capsules. It is, as well, as you can see by what the label says, it does that. But it promotes, well, not only a healthier, I guess, mental state of mind. This stuff for me, I'm not going to say it helps everybody. I don't know how everybody works. It may or may not react different to you than what it does to me. I just know when I have anxiety problems, this here is the best stuff in the world for me to take. It may be different from you. You might be the type where you can't, nah, it ain't gonna work out. You might be the type where, like, hey, a medication from a doctor may do you more good. But then again, taking something like this may help you. I don't know. Being that I'm not a doctor, I don't want to say. It may or may not help you if you have anxiety problems, The bottles, really, I can't say they were that bad. Excuse me. Sinus problems. Can't quite get them to drain properly. Well, anyway. What was I going to say now? Anyway, that thought process is out the window. Future me will know what I wanted to say. Anyway, this here, if anybody from this company sees this, I want you to know, wonderful product. I enjoy it. It's not that expensive. At least when I bought it, it wasn't that expensive. I bought 2 bottles, got 1 free, which makes it 180 pills for the price of 120. Plus, when I bought 2, the guy gave me, I think it was a 3 or 5% discount for buying 2. I just don't remember if it was 3 or 5%. One of the 2 anyway, it doesn't matter. But this stuff here is made in the USA. It's, like I say, all natural. And I do say that on purpose. I usually say all natural, but whatever. I would read the supplement facts, but some print is too small in my eyes. Aren't as good as they were 20 years ago, you know what I'm saying? 5 calm stress comfort. 5 powerful naturally, let's see, relaxing ingredients. Herbal supplement. But yeah, just again, to show you, that is, I've got 3 of these bottles. This one's an open bottle. I took 2 yesterday. I was having major anxiety problems yesterday. Major anxiety problems. I took this, and within 20 minutes, you want relaxation, I might as well have been smoking a damn joint, y'all. It literally took any and all anxiety out of me to the point where I was just like, oh, wow, I felt like I was on drugs, smoking weed. That's what it did. It wasn't that I had the euphoric high and tripping, because I didn't have the euphoric high. It doesn't, this stuff won't do that. But what it does is if you have anxiety, it just snaps you out of that. No euphoric high, no THC, no nothing. No, don't have to worry about any of that. But when I talk about the whole Cheech and Chong, hey, wow, man, it's just a feeling I had due to I wasn't high, but I felt like I was just wow, I was so relaxed. I was like, wow, this is the best feeling in the world type thing, That's where I was at. So, I don't want to make it seem like you're going to get all buzzed up and miss half of what's going on, because you're still going to be with the program, you know what I mean? And then I bought another bottle. See, these 3 bottles here, 3 bottles. Grand Rapids, Michigan, right? That's where they came from. Now I bought another bottle that came out of Georgetown, South Carolina, which I have not tried this brand. Just a second here. I ain't getting into deep. Just a minute. Now I'm going to say it's frustrating when you're dealing with stupid. Seriously. Dealing with stupid is the biggest pet peeve I've got. Biggest pet peeve. I cannot deal with stupid people. Anyway, I bought this stuff. It's like the last bottle I showed you. This stuff here came from Georgetown, South Carolina. Which, interesting fact behind that. About, I want to say about 10 to 15 minutes north of here, we have Georgetown, Minnesota. And this came from Georgetown, South Carolina. So if I lived in Georgetown, I could get a package from Georgetown. So, I want to show you something here. Holy crap, that dude packed it. Wow. He packed it in the pack I showed you, right? Then he packed it in he packed it originally in this. Then he wrapped this with newspapers and packed it in the eBay bag. So yeah, I'm going to have to tip my hat to him on that. Priority Express mail. Padded flat rate envelope. You know, I think memory serves me right, I ordered 1 bottle. He sent me 2. I ain't complaining, mind you. Goes back to the joke I told a while ago with the rabbits. You mind me! Rabbits didn't mind me, so I put them in the barn. Last time I made that mistake, I had a whole bunch of rabbits that didn't mind me. No, this particular brand is called a Lift. And you think I could read the label? The way they did it? I doubt it. All natural formula. Dietary supplements, 60 count per bottle. Soft gels, it looks like. Maybe they're like the other ones where they got the latex surrounding with the powder. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not going to break this open until I'm done with the other. Supports healthy... I can't quite read what that word says. I'll just show you. If you can help me out here, I'd appreciate it. What does that word say? I cannot read it. It's not that I'm illiterate, it's just look at the label, you know. I can't read that. Lift. Again, made in the USA. It's got a FDA stamp of approval on the back. And there's only one word I can't make out. And it's because it goes from like a gold to black to gold to a brown to a black. Back to a brown and gold. Makes it hard for me to read. I'll have to take the phone on the camera part, blow it up, see if I can read it from there. And yes, I should be having glasses. I just don't go to the optimist. Last time I went to the optimist, he wanted to know if I wanted my eyes checked. I said, no, that's alright. He said, why not? You should have your eyes checked once a year. I said, no, that's only for the cab companies, the cab drivers. They're the only ones that should have their eyes checked. Get it? Checkered cab. Checking your eyes. Anyway, red skeleton for y'all. That's the one with the rabbits and You Mind Me. And then having the optometrist check your eyes. I got that from Red Skeleton. And yes, he did call the optometrist the optimist. So, silly little me. I love dry humor and clean humor. Sometimes my mouth isn't so clean and needs to be washed out with soap, but I'm trying to work on it. I'm trying to be playing nice and speaking. I'm trying to eliminate certain words, if you know what I mean. Some days it's easier than others. 2 bottles of Lift. Come on. Here we are. Got 2. Anyway. At least I can read the sports section out of South Carolina. What paper is this now? Well, it's not the entire sports section, but it's a part of the sports section. It's got sports in the upper left-hand corner. Facebook.com // can't quite make that out. My eyes aren't so good. Then it's got Twitter.com / something. Oh, Sun News. That's what it is. That's what it says. On Facebook.com and Twitter.com, you do the / Sun, then Sun News. Take you to South Carolina paper. Talks about Hurricane Florence up here. Then it's got golfer, driver, musician contributing to storm relief. See, won't this have a date on it? Oh, this silly little me. Page got folded over. Yeah, the Sun News. This is an old paper. Old enough. Dad had only been dead for a year. Thursday, September 27th, 2018. And guess what? Today is Thursday, March 17th. Oh, speaking of which, yesterday, you know what that was? Wasn't yesterday Pi Day? 3.16 is it? Isn't that Pi Day? I know in the wrestling world they're playing off of Austin 316. Stone Cold Steve Austin, he went in 316. So they were going off of that, playing on that. WWE. Yes, I still watch it. Quit watching it for many, many years. Then within the last probably, I don't know, 8 months to a year, I started watching it again. Because I got nothing better to do. That with Antenna TV. We get Friday Night SmackDown every Friday. I figured out like it'd be on any other day. Either way, I'll use that. It'll go into the recycle bin anyway. It'll probably end up in Pactiv as a egg carton. Pactiv recycles a lot of the paper products locally. South Moorhead in the industrial park. There's the main industrial park, then you cross the interstate, and then there's the other part of the industrial park. Pactiv is in the other part. And you take paper products, they'll make everything from egg cartons and other different containers. Some of them go into hospitals for, they call them urinals, but it's a little cardboard, it's the same consistency or a little bit thicker as, well, it's a little thicker than an egg carton, but they call it a urinal. It's a pee bottle. This way when you get people that are laid up in bed, you just go ahead and use it. Some hospitals use it for men that have to do, make water. I'll just say that and be nice about it. And then they just dispose of it, however. Okay, John, what else was I going to talk about? Help me out here. You guys might know, you guys and gals may know better than me what I wanted to discuss. Be on the lookout too. A little drive was taken earlier. Don't worry, we didn't hide any bodies today. That's for another video. It's a joke, son. But to me, I feel like, you know, I really don't want to say this, but yet it's on my mind. And I mean this in the kindest way, too. I'm subscribed to the Big O review and vlogs, right? Love the channel. Totally love it. Well, I had a habit of taking a page out of his book today. Brother and I did. We both needed to get out of the house, and I told him, hey, why don't you join me? It's been a rough couple of days, whatever. It's going a little bit of a drive. We burnt up a quarter tank of gas, but then again, we were gone for, I think, 2 hours. Whatever. You're going to see us basically from, well, we live on 3rd Avenue and 7th Street in town. And it's going to show us pretty much at the intersection of 7th Avenue, or 7th Street and 3rd Avenue. And we're basically headed out to Felton, Minnesota. We go to, I want to say, Borup, Minnesota. And then we end up in Felton, Minnesota. No, we started in Felton, Minnesota. Then we ended up in Borup, Minnesota. Then we ended up in Ada, Minnesota. Ada, Minnesota is 27 miles west of Mahnomen, Minnesota. Which, Mahnomen, Minnesota, and I don't remember how far west, and I don't know how far east, and I really don't know how far north, but it's all reservation. I'll have to look up to see which tribe it is, but basically all the way to Detroit Lakes, Minnesota, which is roughly 30 minutes south of Mahnomen. That whole stretch is reservation land. And basically, they've got the casino. The Shooting Star Casino is in Mahnomen, Minnesota. Then they have a secondary location of the Shooting Star Casino, which, if memory serves me right, might be Bagley, Minnesota. I know there's a casino out there, and I keep thinking it's the Shooting Star's second location. Don't quote me. If you want to look anything up, check out the Shooting Star Casino. Google it if you want. The Shooting Star Casino in Mahnomen, Minnesota. It'll give you a lot more information than what I can right now. I should have done my homework, but as you can see, I didn't. Some of us don't plan ahead, if you know what I mean. But yeah, and just so you know, when Dad was a kid, he got family up in Ada, Minnesota, you see. No lie. I wouldn't lie about that. Some things I do joke around and lie about, but at least last I checked, he had relatives up there. And Dad was talking when he was a kid. Mind you, this was back in, well, Dad was born in 46. So I suppose this was anywhere from 1949 up until about him being about 13 or 14 years old. He would go camping up in there. Relatives would have some land, right? So he'd go out in the back 40, so to speak, set up a tent, campsite, whatnot, have everything set up for where he could stay out there for 2 or 3 days, camping if he wanted. You know, if he wanted to go up to the building, do his thing, go back and forth between the campsite and that. There's a lot of wooded land out in that area, so you could really have a blast if you're the type to just get out and camp and do whatever, you know. Not like anybody's going to say anything. Back in the 40s and 50s, well, times were different. A lot different than what they are now. Well, needless to say, I can't remember if it was an uncle of his or who the relative, maybe it was a cousin, something, I don't remember. It's been so long since I heard the story, I don't remember if it was his uncle, a cousin, who it was. But they were out there at the campsite doing their thing, and he'd tell me I think it was him and his uncle, if memory serves me right. They were in the tent for the night. It was probably, Dad, from my understanding, it was anywhere from 10 o'clock on up to about 1 or 2 a.m. They'd be in the tent sleeping, right? Or they're getting ready for bed, talking into their cots or whatever they had, trying to get some sleep, right? And he says there'd be a couple of times you could hear rocks being thrown into the campsite. No joke. And he'd be like, yeah, whatever. Somebody's screwing with us. And then he said it got to the point where there's a foul smell around the campsite. It's like somebody was rolling around in raw sewage. It just stunk. If you can imagine rolling around in raw sewage and letting that dry off, and then rolling around in a landfill for 2 or 3 days in 90-degree heat, he said it was just, that smell was just rancid. Just nasty. And he says whatever the smell was coming from, both him and his uncle was too scared to look out. They had their guns with them, but they were scared to look out. So he said what happened was they saw 2 handprints toward the top of the tent. And he said whatever it was tall enough to where they don't think any human. He said if it was human, the person would have to be awfully tall to get their arms and hands in the position it was. And he said all they got was 2 handprints, and they could see a thumb with the thin fingers. Both hands toward the top of the tent, not completely on top, but it was on the side toward the top, kind of pushing down on the tent a little. Shaking it around just enough, pushing down. And they said, as far as a figure go, they saw a silhouette, and whatever it was big, real big. And they didn't hear, from my understanding, no noises were made other than from this creature pushing down. Dad said, up until the day Dad died, he said, we never looked out to see what it was. We have no idea what it was doing it. He says, I'm not going to sit here and say it was Sasquatch, But he says whatever it was, sure as heck wasn't human. But he says we were too scared to go out and look to see what that was. And he says, as far as we know, somebody was screwing with us. Until the day he died, I don't know. He says, I'm playing off the fact that it was Bigfoot. But he says, I'm not going to say for sure if it was, because I've never seen Bigfoot. I don't know if Bigfoot exists. But he says, I'm going to play with the thought and entertain the thought that it was. So I'm going to leave you with that thought. Do you believe in Sasquatch? If so, do you think Sasquatch would have done it? You know, if you don't believe in Sasquatch, well, it is what it is. If you do, again, it is what it is. I like to think that Sasquatch may be real, but until we have further evidence, I'm going to leave the question mark on it and just dream of the thought that, well, maybe it does exist. I don't know. My thoughts on it, take it for what you will. It is what it is. Anyway, I want you to be on the lookout in the future for, I don't know how many videos. I know at least 2, maybe 4, maybe 5. But I know videos will be coming out in the near future. And like I say, I did take a page out of the Big O Review and Vlogs page. And we did a little drive for a while. We hit up Fountain, Minnesota, Borup, Minnesota, Ada, Minnesota, and we did what we did, got what we got. Brother did the filming, so if it isn't the quality person likes, he's the one to talk to. Other than that, I hope you enjoy. See you later.